Greetings, YouTube. Today I'll be talking about a Pathfinder book called Spellweaver. This is from by Stephen Trustin. It's an alternative magic system, and it is from Misfit Studios. Excellent. And this is an actual base class, a new type of spellcaster. Now, this is a skill-based spellcaster. So you have to roll on a skill called spellweaving. Big stretch there. To be able to successfully cast your spell. And a lot of the times if you fail and you roll well in the failure, you have to kind of make a save after that. You will not lose your attempt. You have a limited number of attempts per day. But things can go bad. If you roll poorly, and the higher the spell level is, the more chance there is to go badly, things can harm you. So there's a risk factor in here. They also talk about the fact that there are parts of the world where the weave, which is what you're actually weaving together to create these spells, some places it's stronger, some places it's weaker, some places it fluctuates. So it's kind of a chaos magic bit of flavor thrown in there. Obviously, places that have a higher concentration of weave energy are going, and they're permanent, are going to be places that spellweavers congregate. Maybe even build strongholds around. One of the interesting things I found about this is the skill is purely semantic. There are no verbal or material components. That's interesting. No sound. Just your hands. That was kind of cool. Now, every spell has a challenge rating, a DC or difficulty, and they were nice enough to give you rules for how to figure out what your spell is, but they also gave a fairly comprehensive list of spells in the Pathfinder system, but they already worked it out. For example, water breathing, an 8. There you go. You know what you have to roll against. Raven feeblement, an 11. Where's magic missile? There you go, 13. And wait 1 second. Where's fireball? Where are you? There you go. 10. So that's a pretty easy spell to cast. Now, why would you do this? Well, one of the things is that you can cast both arcane and divine spells. Now, they suggest that if you're casting a divine spell, there's not only is there a challenge rating to hit a target, but there's a variable on top of that. And they use 3d4. So like maybe a 15, and you add 3d4 to that because you're not a divine spellcaster, so you're having a harder time to do it. So that gives this casting class, a fair amount of flexibility. I actually think 3d4 is a little rough for two reasons. One, rolling 3d4 sucks. I don't like rolling die 4s. And I think that's pushing it up a little too high, because you don't get a lot of these castings at low level. You start out with 4, and at 20th level you only get 30 a day. But it does allow a lot of flexibility. So why would you go through all this trouble? Well, here's the thing that makes this class attractive. You can cast any level spell at any class level. So you could be a first level spellweaver and cast a wish, or you could try to cast a wish. You are very likely to do harm to yourself in a catastrophic way, but there's not saying you can't do it. Now, because it's a skill, I can't imagine any spellcaster that's not going to take skill-focused spell weaving. And it's intelligence, so you're going to crank your intelligence up, so everybody's going to have a +3 at least, if not a +4, to start with. So Fireball becomes a viable option at first level, though it's going to be a really weak Fireball, because you're only first level, and it's based on your spell level on die 6s. So it'd be a weak Fireball, but it would be a Fireball. And that could be useful at that level. So this is a class that has a lot of flexibility. As long as you work out the DCs for all the spells you're going to be using, you don't have to worry about it on the fly. And they give you a nice list to go by. You can wear light armor, which is nice. There's another couple other abilities in here, of course, because almost every Pathfinder class I've ever seen has numerous abilities attached to it. All, woven in there. There's a race in here, which is kind of a humanoid spider race. not shocking. It's a weaving class, so they threw that in there. And they have a challenge rating because they're a little tougher than normal. So it's weird. It's a sliding scale. So at low levels, like 1 through 5, it's a +2. At slightly higher levels, up to like 12th, I think it was, or no, 7th or 8th, it was a +1, and above that, it's not considered. It's considered on par. So if you want to play this at low levels, you're going to have a character that starts out with almost no abilities, or you're going to have to wait till the character's like, your group's like 3rd before you bring that, or you start at 3rd. Some groups start at 3rd. I've done that myself. So this has a lot of interesting things in it, and the flexibility it presents is pretty cool. And they also even talk about making this the only class in the campaign. That's maybe not what I would want to do. I think this is a nice alternative class, and I think it is very interesting. So I really recommend this to anyone that likes the idea of a skill-based spellcaster. Now, in the past, a lot of time I've seen skill-based spell casting. That's a tongue twister. It's been based on you can do it as often as you want, but you suffer a penalty. So you may be able to cast a spell every round all day long if you want, but every single time you do it, you say you take subdual damage, non-lethal damage. So eventually you just wear yourself down to the point where you pass out and you can't cast spells anymore because you're unconscious. I like the fact that they don't do that here. I don't like systems that punish you for using your abilities. That seems kind of unfair to my mind. It's probably my biggest argument with Radiance for that very reason. But I like the way they did this. I'm not sure if I'd want to use it or not. I think I'd play with the idea. But it was well written, and it was $20, so it's not a deal breaker. I got it on sale for $16. I was happy about that. The artwork inside is solid. It's completely Pathfinder compliant, and it has all of the standard structure of the Pathfinder book. If you like Pathfinder, this book is going to be something that you may want to read. I stumbled upon it. I'd never heard of it. I happened to just walk into a gaming store. Weirdly, I just won $20 at a door prize. Walked in there, saw this. I'm like, hey, $20, boom, book. So I was quite happy. I'd never heard of the company, never heard of the book, and it's quite interesting. And I recommend it. So go out there, folks. And if you like the idea of skill-based spell casting, and you like a class that has a lot of flexibility, if built-in risk, this may be something you want to read.